Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? This is Dex.
Queen Esther here. Crowned it.
And this is another episode of Complicated Discord.
Hi.
Hope everyone's having a good day today. We had a crazy week. Let me be honest with you. This is going to be our second recording. We recorded one before for you guys, but the quality was substandard. So we decided to record again during the week, and I'm just getting off of work. So, of course, I got my little dranky drank right here.
Sipping with you, bro.
And just so everyone knows, before anyone asks, what I'm drinking is called a Bronx.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm drinking.
It's a gin drink, so, you know.
What else is in it?
Gin, sweet vermouth, dry vermouth, a little bit of OJ.
Okay, Mr. Bartender.
Hey, man, you got to experiment, man. Sometimes you got to just drink like you grown.
No, this is just straight. That's all I'm going to call it. It's just some straight.
Yeah, don't be falling off the chair, 15 minutes into the recording. I will laugh at you and I will post it.
Ooh, if I had money to take a flight right now, I would.
You ain't about that life. You really don't want this smoke.
You say so, Dex. What are we talking about today?
You know what? We got a few topics. All of them I feel are pretty important, but we're going to go with the most prevalent, in my opinion, first. We're going to talk about the new development in the Breonna Taylor case. Yesterday, September 22nd, the Louisville mayor declares a state of emergency ahead of the attorney general, putting out their statement in regards to Breonna Taylor and everyone, trying to get her killers arrested. I'm not sure how much people have been following it, but the Taylor family did recently receive a $12 million settlement in a wrongful death case. But the thing is, everyone is saying, yeah, you gave family the money for the death, but what about the justice?
Exactly. And I'm unhappy. And I think the world is unhappy.
And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. The world is about to get more unhappy.
And there's going to be unrest. And I feel as though the mayor or whomever knew what this case was going to come out. He was like, I don't know, but why are you going to put a state of emergency knowing that they're going to call in, the military again? We know that the freaking president has no problem using extreme force. And he said, we just want to make sure the protesters could protest peacefully.
Well, hang on. Before we go ahead and talk about, protesting, whether it be peaceful or not, let me go ahead and put out there what the attorney general said. They said that they're going to indict one officer, and here's the kicker, not for murder. They're going to indict him for wanton endangerment. And the crazy thing is, you can serve up to 5 years for that. 5 years.
But who's going to serve any amount of time for this? Do you really feel like he's
regardless, that charge carries a maximum sentence of 5 years. You shot someone in their bed. And the maximum punishment you could receive is 5 years. And you know what? There's more. It only gets better. The other two officers weren't indicted because it was ruled justifiable force because the boyfriend shot first. Now, before I go on and tell you my opinion on this, let's hear from you, S.
I don't think there's anything else to say, but I'm disgusted at the United States and this country, the judicial system, and the lack of justice being given for other reasons. And that has absolutely nothing to do with the moral standard of doing something correct and incorrectly. And they say the law and the judicial system is for everyone, but it's not. Look, this is a joke. They're laying someone's life on a platter and they're putting a label of 12 million, whatever amount of money, to a life. just to be like, go over there and be quiet. That's good enough. Some chump change for you guys to live a little bit better, but you're never going to bring her back. It's just, I'm upset. I'm probably emotional at the moment about this, because although we probably already knew that we were going to be fed some BS about this topic, I still feel as though we all know there needs to be justice. I don't know what else to say about this case other than that.
Now,
white privilege, perhaps. They're going to say that the boyfriend shot first, but they had a faulty, what do you call that? A warrant. If at all.
They didn't have a faulty warrant. And this is where my issue is. You're sitting down saying that they had justifiable force because the boyfriend shot first. But here's the thing.
I didn't say that. I said people.
No. I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. They're saying that. But here's the thing. Where is the negligence? Because that's what this is. It is negligence. They went to serve a warrant at 3-something in the morning, at the wrong address, and the person was already caught. All of this could have been avoided with a little bit of due diligence. All it takes is a little bit of background, a phone call. Use the little mic you got in your thing. Hey, so we're going to go serve this warrant. Anything we should know? All of this could have been avoided with just a little bit of do your job.
Blue. But that would be Blue telling Blue that Blue is wrong and that that never happened.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Before we got to the point, before it's Blue telling Blue was wrong, prior to them kicking in this door, they should have done their due diligence. They could have called and said, hey, we're going to serve this warrant. Just want to make sure everything's on the up and up.
Even in this instance, though, the freaking neighbors, because you remember, they're using weaponry. They're shooting people in this house. There's people next door. It's an apartment. It's not just a house. The neighbors apparently are getting more justice than the person who was killed in her sleep at the end of the day.
And before they come up with this whole, well, we announced yourself, you knocked on my door at 3:00 in the morning while I'm asleep in the bedroom. You expect me to hear that? Of course, when you kick my door, and I am going to come out guns a-blazing, because at the end of the day, I have to protect what's mine. You understand? You were wrong in this matter. I feel like they all need to be indicted, and it needs to be way more than just wanton endangerment. That is absolute crap, and something needs to get done. And you know what? I believe you. I feel like the mayor kind of saw this coming.
He already saw it coming.
He decided to preemptively strike. Like, oh shit, this is about to get ugly.
Like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. I don't need this. There's no need even to just list the names and the rapidness with which this is occurring. Like, we have a death like every other month or every week. Like, and then as far as the Caucasian side of the world, it's like, this is not going on in our community. So we're not going to like have a more of an uprising and be like, okay, they're human. This is a life that was lost at the end of the day. What are you going to say?
It's actually pretty funny that you brought that up. Recently, I seen a post that made a lot of sense. I'm not sure if you remember back in 2016, I want to say it was, where the gentleman was inside his hotel room. I guess he was an exterminator. He had his salt gun or whatever, and he came.
He had a gun that was used to exterminate with,
but it wasn't a firearm. Yeah, it wasn't a firearm.
It was a pellet gun.
And the police were called because somebody saw him through his window. The police came with AR-15s pointed. They had the gentleman down on his knees with his hands on top of his head. The guy, they said, get down, lay down on the ground. And he's like, I can't without putting my hands down. And they said, don't put your hands down or we're going to shoot you. And the guy, I guess he was confused or maybe he was drunk or whatever.
He was inebriated.
And they shot the man. And then the crazy thing is this also happened again fairly recently with the autistic kid. The mom called the police because the kid had, I guess he was having a mental breakdown. He's having an episode, and they wanted the police to help escort him to, I guess, the hospital. They said he wasn't armed, but
now he has to live with permanent damage. I said, this is Blue protecting Blue all the way around. That's what it leads back to.
But hold on. But the thing is, when I seen the post, the guy said, you know what? I don't understand. My white community answered this for me. How come you guys aren't in an uproar over yours getting shot by the cops? He said, at this point, it's not even so much about the race. It's not about race anymore. It's not about black and white. It's about holding these police officers accountable for their actions. Why aren't you mad? Why are you not upset? You know? And I didn't think about it until after I saw that, but then I ended up coming up with a few instances. Either, well, me personally, I believe that it could be, one of three. Either it happens so little that, it doesn't matter. Per capita, if 10 of us, if there's 100 of them, 10 of us get shot, and there's 101 of them get shot, it's like it didn't really happen to one of them. They can live with the fact that
life. There's lack of, but there's still this lack of accountability that you keep bringing up, and it doesn't matter about the percentage, because a human life is a human life at the end of the day. Is that wrong?
No, you're right, and I'm not the one that's disputing that. But what the guy was saying is, why aren't you mad just like the rest of us? And like I said, the only other way I could see it is either they just don't want to see.
Or it doesn't hit close enough to home.
Yeah, it doesn't affect them enough for them to say, okay, this is a big deal. And if it does happen, it's so far and few in between, it's not something to be brought up every other day.
It's not a problem that they have to face. Like, the problem needs to be brought to their doorstep in order for something to be done on such a major scale.
And I mean, at the end of the day, if we have any listeners or any viewers from the white community, please chime in. Let us know. I'm curious to know why you guys aren't mad. I'm mad for you. They shot a child. There is no that is unacceptable.
For at least New York City police officers, it says protect and serve. They're supposed to protect the civilians or just human people to begin with. She called the police for assistance with a child that is on the spectrum of autism, which she did make clear to them in the phone call. It's just clear that they don't have the right tactics or the right training to go to these different houses, and address the situation efficiently. You're dealing with everyone as though they're criminals. It's almost like they're burning to use their weaponry.
Do you, what this reminds me of? Do you remember the old game Twisted Metal?
No.
Okay, well, for those of you who aren't gamers, Twisted Metal was an old PlayStation game where you drove around and you had like rockets and guns mounted to your cars, and it's a death match. And one of the characters in the game name was Outlaw. Outlaw was a police officer, and he drove around, and whenever he hit his sirens, electricity would shoot out and get all the other cars and electrocute them. But the reason I bring this up is on the side of his car, instead of having protect and serve, he had paralyze and sever. And I'm kind of feeling like that's what the cops are going with now. They're like, the hell with protect and serve. Let's paralyze and sever these guys.
That's exactly what he could have done to the little boy.
And this is ridiculous. Something needs to change. And that is now I hope everyone sees it's not just a black thing. It's an accountability thing. Just like how the cops hold us accountable whenever we do something wrong, they should be held accountable.
They need to be held accountable. But unfortunately, both the government and law enforcement are the largest gangs known to man.
That leaves that simple question that you're constantly hearing.
What?
Who watches the Watchmen?
Okay, so yeah, there are no checks and balances in all of these gangs. I'm gonna keep calling them gangs. So what do you think we're gonna be doing to we could continue to march? Because I want to know, what are we gonna do about this Breonna Taylor situation? Because that's still weighing.
I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't know if you've been reading. A lot of these affluent black folks have been putting money together and buying large amounts of land. And if you buy enough land, you can create your own, I guess, city or state or whatever it is. I gotta look into it a little more.
Interesting.
A township or whatever. But they've been doing that. They've been buying it, and they can create their own laws. They can have their own community, and a lot of them have been doing that. I mean, I'm not saying that might be the best option, but it is a pretty good option. I mean, I'm not gonna say, hey, I believe in segregation, but if sometimes owning your own is the only way to protect protect yours, then sometimes that's what you need to do.
I agree. No, I definitely agree with that. But it's a problem that needs to be addressed. It just needs to be addressed. I just feel unrest in my spirit. I swear. Even though it's like we knew this was going to happen, I just need to know, like, what can we do other than just raise funds and think preemptively for the future. I'm talking about this situation because it needs to be addressed. Just like George Floyd's killers are still roaming around, so is Breonna Taylor's killers.
Yeah, they need to fix this. Like at the end of the day, if we can't peacefully protest, we just gonna protest.
You feel me? Okay. Well, yeah.
Next up, I know that this topic is gonna be a little triggering for you, S. But we're gonna talk about Lori Loggins, aka Aunt Becky from Full House.
And I love that show too when I was a kid.
So Miss Loggins and a fair amount of the social elite, let's say, were all caught, paying bribes to a lot of these Ivy League schools so their kids could be guaranteed a slot. And some of these, the admissions have been creating like fake sports scholarships and things like that to get these people in, Miss Loggins herself paid $500,000 for her kids to get into University of Southern California, I believe.
Yeah.
And, she was a part of the whole sting operation. Apparently the person that they paid ended up getting caught, and he 6'9"
everybody
Yeah,
it's just a world full of
he helped the feds build a case against everyone else, and she ended up her and her husband ended up taking a plea deal. Now, along with this plea deal, which I will say I am rather impressed with that attorney that got to swing this. She got to choose. She got sentenced to 2 months in federal prison, and it's most likely
doing a felony.
And she got to choose which prison she went to for her 2 months, mind you. Now, mind you,
also not in prison yet.
Now, here's the thing. She's doing 2 months, and her husband is doing 5 months for these crimes. But mind you, the maximum penalty for these crimes is 20 years. So out of 20 years, they're doing 2 months and 5 months. But we're going to touch more on that here in a minute. She got to choose her prison, and she chose a prison in California. This specific federal prison allows for ceramics, spin class, and Pilates.
So we're going to camp now. So you could do a felony and you get to go to summer camp?
It's crazy that they have Pilates and spin class when in some of these other prisons, some of these other federal prisons and state prisons, the inmates can't even get a proper education. They can't take any classes other than maybe their GED. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. This shows you how socialist and privilege works.
Say it. It says backwards.
Like, this is absolute asinine. So along with her 2 months, she had to pay $150,000 worth of fines, and her husband had $250,000 worth of fines, which they can afford because they paid $500,000 for the kids to go to school. And then they both got 2 years of supervised release. Now, listen, the judge said after he handed down the vote, he believes that it was sufficient but not greater than necessary punishment under the circumstances.
I
have never in my days heard a judge say that about a black defendant ever, or not even just a black defendant, a defendant that isn't as well off. And that's the thing. In today's society, it seems like a lot of these richer folks, a lot of the 1% will get convicted of a crime. Either it'll get covered up completely or they'll get a slap on the wrist, when some of us will commit the same crime and go to jail for half our lives.
Because money talks. And that's what they have, is money. They're also Caucasian. So white privilege. We just have everything given to you on a platter, huh? This is...
Hey, hold on. Listen.
I know if I did a felony.
Do me a favor. For those of the listeners who don't know what white privilege is, please clarify.
Choosing your prison, getting below the necessary punishment for the crime that it was done, and then you get to have Pilates, yoga, and spin class, and pottery. Excuse me. That's what happens. That's white privilege.
I read a post one time that's saying the definition of white privilege is having the privilege to not accept white privilege being a thing.
that does not make me laugh. It's fun. Well, it's true.
It's true, but it's true.
We're not privileged. This is just normal. I'm glad that you were born into this world and able to not think about any problems off the rip.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I also know that this is not going to damage them in any way. That's something that I do understand.
It's not.
It's not going to damage them. They get to go to jail, twiddle their thumbs, go on vacation for 2 and 5 months. And then they still have the means to pay the lawyers that they paid, the school, the guy, the bribery, whatever. Their child is still going to go to a decent college. Maybe not with his SAT scores, but you know what I mean? But it's not going to damage them. They're going to get out. They're going to be able to pay the fines for doing the felony because I'm sure they're going to have fines. And other races and other people from other walks of life, once they get a felony, that's the end. They can't even get a job. But they don't need to because they have bank accounts.
Little Dicky said it the best. Being white allows him to underachieve his way into any college he wants.
Look at how the United States was built.
Man, listen. I'm still waiting for my repayment.
40 acres and a mule.
You know what? Listen, how about this? How about you don't give me 40 acres in a mule? You just clear up a little bit of my credit debt.
Facts. Okay, let me live.
You can keep the 40 acres, man. Listen, take me out of debt. I'll call it even. I'll call it even.
No, but they're going to go to a well-funded prison, okay, where the meals are probably a lot better. They're also able, those classes, I can't get over the classes because it sounds like they're going to the YMCA.
Bro, but let's be honest. Let's be honest. That's pretty much what it is. They're going to rehab.
Yeah,
they're going to upscale rehab.
So they're getting reform. But why is it that citizens, regular tax-paying citizens, because I don't think they pay their taxes either if they want to go steal their way into college, but they're getting reform when people who actually have had a hard knock life. I'm not giving anyone a reason or saying that anyone has the right to do a crime, but sometimes there's certain means to getting to an end that people feel that's the only way that they can do it, which is why a large portion of minorities end up in prison, but they're not getting the reform they need for when they get out, if they're going to do the crime and the time. But how are you helping them other than wasting taxpayer money?
Bro,
does somebody help me? Nobody? Anybody?
Listen, we both know that this system was not
made for us
or those that don't have the means to buy their way into a better life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a harsh reality we have been forced to accept.
All about the Benjamins. That's what this world is.
You know what? Before we get into our next subject, I want to talk about that post you sent me earlier.
In regards to
Trump banning the
federal the federal branch of the government from acknowledging people's just basic rights and the sensitivity to racial issues, sexism, stuff like that. Hold on, let me pull that one up.
Yeah, I didn't get.
What did you want to say to it though?
I mean, I read it, but I didn't get a chance to do a whole ton of research on it. You know what that sounds like? And please don't anyone take this the wrong way. That almost sounds like the story of history. To where they decide to ignore something. Go ahead, you explain it first, and then I'll continue. Then what I'll say will make more sense.
So this is Trump expanding the ban on racial sensitivity training to federal contractors. So essentially, he wants to, he also stated on Twitter, his words, Americans should be taught to take pride in our great country. And if you don't, there's nothing in it for you. Trump also said efforts to indoctrinate government employees with divisive and harmful sexual and race-based ideologies to contractors doing business with the federal government and those receiving grant funds. So basically, he doesn't want them to have any morals.
What I think it is he doesn't want to admit that there are issues with the government. So he's like, we're not going to have these classes.
He doesn't want to acknowledge it, yeah.
We're not going to have these classes because it's not a thing. But doesn't that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, global warming, because it's not a thing either.
Not even just that. A little along another lines. Like, think about your school history book.
They don't want to acknowledge slavery like it wasn't a thing.
They don't acknowledge a lot of things. Black Wall Street isn't acknowledged.
They don't acknowledge who built the United States.
They don't acknowledge that some of the same presidents that signed the Declaration of Independence, some of the same people that signed the Declaration and that wrote the Constitution were slave owners.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the funniest thing in the world to me. I want you to be free, but I'm going to own you anyway.
The government's a joke. Politics is a joke at the end of the day.
And you know what? The one thing I heard that made the most sense, someone said, if you're not ashamed of your past, why are you hiding it?
It's true.
They said privilege.
But I know why they wouldn't hide it, though, at the end of the day, if they made an admittance.
But they would have
to acknowledge it.
They also said that, and this is believe it or not, a white person said, they were like, white privilege is not being taught about the harshities that happened in school. You're privileged to not have to hear that. And the thing is, without educating people, then they're bound to then that's how it starts. Because and that's the thing. You can't sit down and say that, that a lot of these kids are racist just because at the end of the day, if we're not educating them on what happened, then that privilege they have is out of ignorance. They don't know any better. They don't know that, hey, this happened, so I can't say this or I can't do that. Because
and I think you've also said this too. Ignorance is bliss, which is why that would be what white privilege is. It's bliss because they have no understanding as to the main struggles that happen in life, period.
Yeah, but not all of it is ignorance. Some people just choose to ignore it. Like I said, it's not like they know and they said, you know what, I don't really care. So it doesn't. But
it's still a level of ignorance.
I don't give it. Yeah. Well,
there's still a level of ignorance. I choose to be ignorant. It's a choice.
Touche, my friend. You make it.
It's a fucking choice.
Point that you absolutely are right.
Let's talk about.
So moving on. So in the past couple of weeks, a lot of people have felt some type of way because Cardi B has filed for divorce from her husband Offset, and there was a ton of guests. I'm sorry.
There was a lot of backlash too.
Well, it's not even the backlash. People, before she admitted why they were divorcing, people were making a bunch of insinuations and guesses. It was, oh, he cheated again. Oh, he's having a baby. Oh, he's using drugs. Oh, he's abusive. Mm-hmm. And she came out and she was like, no.
That is nigga.
argue way too much because he cheated before and I'm not going to wait for him to cheat again. And mainly, I believe that she was just kind of like, I'm not going to teach my daughter that this is what you need to accept.
Yeah, she was doing self-worth.
You don't stay in a marriage with someone that you're constantly arguing with. You don't stay in a marriage when someone is cheating on you and treating you like shit. Mm-hmm. And that's a damn good lesson to teach your child. Not to settle for someone just because you think you need to be with them, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. And then there are other people who feel other.
And you took the words out of my mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with you guys. For those that are listening and not watching, the video I'm about to play or the audio you're going to hear is a young lady saying why she does not agree with Cardi B divorcing her husband. I'm not going to play the full video because it's long as shit and we don't have
copyright
or attention span. Plus, don't nobody give a shit what she feels, man.
Facts.
Listen. You hear it yourself and you make your decisions.
I'm going live because all of Facebook, most of Facebook, the black women keep talking about Cardi B divorcing her husband because he cheated on her so many times, and they're so happy that she made this movement to leave her husband who has cheated on her so much, and that's very courageous of her. For one, that's one of the reasons why you black women today can't keep a man, nor find a husband, nor keep a husband, because y'all.
So I'm gonna pause and dissect this as it goes on. Then, maybe we could listen to the whole thing. First and foremost, what? You are in no place to talk for black women. Like, are you serious? So black women can't keep a husband because they choose not to get cheated on and treated like shit? Who wants that? Who deserves that? But hey, I digress. I am not a woman. Esther, please, your thoughts.
Oh, okay. Basically, the young woman was stating there were a lot of things that she stated that I had an issue with, and I was trying to be on her side at a certain point, but I couldn't because she was contradicting herself. She first started off stating that girls are out there trying to be like Cardi B, and they're giving her props for wanting to divorce Offset, while belittling her at the same time. Oh, she was just a stripper. She's just a whore. In addition,
we didn't get there yet. I'm gonna need you to stick to the point here, girl.
That she was beyond, that she had nothing important to say for our community?
No, the point that she just said, that's why black women can't keep a man.
Even that's not something to want to live up to. Keeping a man. What does that do? How do you keep a person? We have free will. We're human beings. That's a human being. So now you're promoting slavery.
You know what she sounds like?
And all in the same breath?
You know what she sounds like to me? She sounds like one of those women that that can't be happy by themselves. They need a man to show them their self-worth.
Well, she said that is her purpose, to be a wife. Again,
you are jumping ahead here. Listen. Listen. I will fight you. I'm not scared of you.
We've been sipping. We've also been sipping.
Yeah, apparently you've been sipping more than I have.
No, she just really, infuriates me. So I just...
Okay, well, back to the show.
Mindset is so fucked up about the terms of a husband and what a wife is. For one, Cardi B is a ex-stripper, a whore. We all know what strippers do. Rather, she was selling her pussy.
She just said, why would you feel bad for, how could she keep a man? She is a stripper and a whore. First of all, Cardi B did what she had to do to survive. Now, believe it or not, when I first heard of Cardi B, I didn't like the fact that she was a stripper either. But you know what? I respect her hustle, doing what she needed to do to make ends meet. I can't get mad at that. I know people that's done worse. Secondly, because she was a stripper, and even if she was a prostitute, does that mean that people can't change?
It's not even if people can't change. Does that mean that they're less of a human being? Like, she's speaking downwards towards people, but she's supposed to be a Christian.
But and that's what it is. You're saying that because she was a stripper, mind you, she is saying because she was a stripper and in her own words a whore, that Cardi B isn't entitled to love and happiness. Bro, it don't matter what you did in your past. Your past is your past. And if you can get with someone that can look past that, then whose business is it? What do you give a shit? Why is that your concern?
Because she's religious, and apparently the Bible teaches you to be judgmental.
All right, I'm going to move on with the next portion of this video.
You're taking her clothes off, either or it's disgusting, and that is a whore. She was never going to find a good husband. That's why she got a husband like Offset. He's a clown. Any woman, as a woman personally, I wouldn't even want to be seen walking in public with him the way.
What makes him a clown?
And then she wants to degrade our own people, but yet she's uplifting someone.
Bro,
how are you? Go ahead.
Here's the part that killed me, what she just said. She sounds like those racist people that do this thing where it's kind of like, oh, you look a certain way, so you have to be a certain way. Being someone who's been racially profiled because I've got tattoos and long hair, it fucking sucks. And it sucks even worse when it comes from your own people. Because I'll look a certain way doesn't mean I'm a certain way. I could look like the biggest thug in the world and be the sweetest person.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying, especially within our community, this is an issue. It's like we're breaking each other down, but how is it supposed to help us work cohesively as a people? That's what I want to understand. How does she feel she's helping?
Not only is she degrading black men, but she's also degrading women everywhere too. She's full of shit.
Exactly. Like, can we be housewives? Can I say that yet?
Huh?
Because
no, you can't say that yet. No. I'm gonna need you to throttle that shit back a little. All right.
I'm being on my best.
He looked, the way he dressed, the way he acted. I don't care how much money he has. He could be a trillionaire. If as a woman, if money motivates you for a man, then something wrong right there too. You should want a man who is where his mindset is right. I got all these women cussing me out on this post. That's why I went live.
And you deserve to be cussed out. Listen, mind frame is an important thing. I do get that, but sometimes it be a nigga that treats you the best that make you hurt the worst.
I agree with your thought.
An ex-stripper, then a woman on top of that who's always naked, showing her body parts. What would make a woman think that that's okay? I mean, we got so far off into the world that's 2020 that the now new okay is what God said, that bad would be considered good, that good would be considered evil. And all you black women, y'all so fucking embarrassing. Most of you. So fucking embarrassing.
I'm glad you stopped that right there. She wants to talk about black women being embarrassing. Sorry,
you know what?
go ahead.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm not a black woman. I'm going to let you have this one. Please.
We're embarrassing. She's embarrassing because she's on here stating she's not even like pushing completely out her religiousness, but she's making herself seem this level of virtuous. And then she's looking down upon other people. Wouldn't you want to coddle your people, bring them in and teach them? No one is going to hear you if you're talking down to a person. How do you get bees? With honey, right? Not with lime. She is not sweet at all. That's all I'm going to say. Like, with her fuzzy ass box braids. Who does this? I'm just saying. Like, you're supposed to be religious. Like, shouldn't you feel safe with religion? Supposed to be. I'm being funny by saying this because it's just a force. It's just a joke. Religion is a joke. It's something for people to believe in. And people might get mad at me when I make that statement, but that's what it was used as. It was used as a vessel to help people, bamboozle people into getting them to do what they wanted them to do. That's what I want to say. Like, so she just sounds like she read the book and she didn't understand it.
In the past, a fair amount of the atrocities that were committed in the name of the Lord. I'm just putting that out there.
No, I'm definitely listening to you.
Have this mindset, and y'all won't change it. Y'all won't even take the time out to things to change it. What nigga gonna be faithful to a stripper, to a whore, to a woman who's telling the whole world about her whack ass pussy?
I know, this just makes you have a deep breath.
If someone is a stripper, that does not in any way say that she doesn't deserve someone to be faithful to them. Bro, do you know what it's like to get cheated on? That shit fucking hurts. So when you say like, I don't think she knows. When you say stuff like that, you are completely like, you're downplaying everyone's pain and emotion that they may have went through in the past. Secondly, not all strippers sleep with their customers. I don't know where she got that story from, but let me tell you something. That type of stuff is the quickest way to get a lawsuit. You got anything, or should I just hit play?
You can say play.
Y'all don't even think about that kind of shit. What woman can keep a man who acts like Cardi B? She couldn't even
keeping a man.
So come on, y'all promoting her divorce, her husband divorce. For one, ain't never good. If your husband cheat on you, you should practice forgiveness. But even if so, the Most High
I can't listen to this.
to leave somebody fornicator, commit adultery. But a lot of women are so big on leaving y'all man. So big on y'all got this mindset that the white man taught y'all that it's okay to leave your husband.
Okay, first things first. I can't get over how judgmental she is, how high and mighty she is. Is though she's on a pedestal because she feels that she's a married woman and being married is all that there is.
Let's go ahead and talk about this judgmental thing for a quick second, okay? Now, I have put it out there in our previous podcast that I am not religious. I am more spiritual, if anything. There is an absolute difference for those who can say, "Oh, there is a difference to it."
Yes, there is.
But let me put it to you this way, right? Because believe it or not, prior to me, giving up my religiousness, so to speak, I went to church. I read the Bible. I was in a very, very, very religious family. And at the end of the day, I'm not saying that I will never be religious again. I just need someone to make a compelling argument.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing. Since we're judging on the book, since we're judging on the Bible, I really and truly hope that shirt she is wearing is 100% cotton. Because I don't know if anyone knows this, the Bible does specifically say in Leviticus 19:19 to not wear clothes with two kinds of materials. So all of these poly cotton blends and silk polyester blends is a sin. Let's talk about that. Secondly,
her hair is synthetic.
There you go. Secondly, the Bible also says, passing judgment on another, you condemn yourself.
Yes.
And that is my issue with a lot of religious people. They look their nose down on people, and they're constantly being judgmental because people want to live their lives. But let's be perfectly honest. Your religion, your belief lets you understand that God gave people free will.
Thank you.
We have the ability to choose for ourselves. We have the ability to make our decisions, right or wrong. And if we're making our decisions wrong, then we will suffer for it. What is that? Your business.
Apparently, she's the mother to the house of strippers because she was like, "You're a stripper. You're horrible. You're worse than Satan." What did they do? Pleasure your husband?
I mean, let's not talk on Mary Magdalene.
I'm not well versed in the Bible. Can't help you, but I do know.
Yeah. Listen, let's not listen. We ain't gonna go all the way back. I'm just saying, look, mind your own goddamn business. What Cardi decides to do with her husband is on her. In fact, I feel like the only reason she opened her mouth was because she wanted to dispel the rumors that her husband was doing terrible shit, and I respect that completely.
Not even that. She also expressed, which I can tell, I think after any woman becomes a mother, they change. Or anyone becomes a parent, your whole view on life changes because it's not about oneself anymore. It's about that child. So now for her, she's like, you know what? I know we argue.
Real quick. Can I close this video down because I'm sick of this ignorance?
Okay.
I can't. I'm done. I'm done with her and her dumb shit.
She was kind of irritating me too, but but I think she honestly did it because she's becoming a seasoned woman and she's thinking about the example she's setting for her daughter by seeing.
And as a mom, that is what you're supposed to do. Let me tell you something. When me and my wife got together, I would bring her flowers every payday. So the 1st and the 15th, like clockwork, she got flowers. She expected it. And I kind of fell off a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I fell off a little bit. But of course, my payment situation changed. So the ability to go up.
Funny.
But when I did that, I would always bring flowers in for her and my daughter. My wife would get a bouquet. My daughter would get 1 to 2 roses or lilies or whatever this flower decided to bring for her that day. But she always got one all the time, every single time. And one day, somebody asked me, why do you bring like the florist? The florist was like, how come you come here and you get flowers for your daughter and your wife every time? I had to simply say to her, because my daughter needs to see what a good man is. If my daughter doesn't know what a good man is, then she's going to accept whatever comes her way, and that's not acceptable. I want her to accept someone the way I treat her mom, with respect, with love. And if she can't have that, then don't waste your time. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's what Cardi B is doing. She is saying, look, don't accept what you have just because this is what you have. You don't have to feel like you are stuck with this person because you're married or because you have kids. If you're not happy, leave. If there's argument and the daughter, your child is seeing that, leave. If you feel like this is not going to go anywhere, leave. And I can completely respect that, because you know what? One of the first caveats I told my wife a long time ago before we got married, if I do something and you don't feel like you can get over it, leave. Because I would prefer us be separate and miss each other than be together and we resent each other so much that we build hate. Because believe it or not, kids pick up on that. Not only that, it affects your relationship, it affects you as a person.
It affects the family. It's an energy thing, definitely, in the household. And you want to just present that cohesive energy. A family that works together stays together, right? I know people say that. Shit. No?
No. Listen. At the end of the day...
Is the sippy sip hitting?
I'm sorry now?
Is the sippy sip hitting? You looking real relaxed.
I'm not going to lie. It is just a little bit. I'm kind of blanking on my words. But nah, for real though, like, what that lady said was absolutely ridiculous.
She contradicted herself throughout it.
Women, black women, white women, Hispanic women, Latino women, Asian women, Middle Eastern women. If you're not happy, leave. If you are not happy, leave. It may suck. It may hurt to be alone, but sometimes, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, sometimes when you leave that person and they figure out that they lost you, that will be enough for them to fix their shit and come at you with a better offer.
Correct. Yeah.
At the end of the day, once you accept your mistakes and you understand what's at risk, you tend to say, you know what, I need to straighten up.
People need to want to be their best self individually, let alone in a marriage. Both people need to work on them. What's up?
No, you're right.
You have to work on yourself individually and then bring that together. And then that would be a good example then to move forward with the children, if there are children involved. But a marriage will never be cohesive if an individual is broken. Okay? She could be up underneath her husband all day. She's like, I just want...
You know what's crazy?
But
I don't think anyone really considers... Maybe Cardi B left because she foresaw cheating coming. Maybe she found text in his phone. Maybe she
I'm worth more.
Yeah, maybe she found a condom in his wallet. Maybe she found some shit where she's like, oh, yo, this is about to happen. So before I find out and I got to kill this nigga, let me go.
Word. He's cheating. Like, she can't, put a hit out on him. Like, she a whole bleezy, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not cool.
Like, let's be honest. Sometimes it's not even for the other person. Sometimes it's the best for you. It's like, yo, before I gotta stab this nigga in his sleep.
Before we, ruin our relationship, let's end this amicably. For real. She was like, let's do this good. While we can still talk, let me walk this way. And while my daughter still has a good view of her father, let me walk away. Period. So what else are we talking about?
All right.
What else bring to me?
The last topic we're going to touch on is going to be real quick. Is all brought to you because I seen a news article where a gentleman went to the doctor. I don't know if it was a proctologist or a general doctor, but I guess a urologist. I'm sorry. What's a proctologist?
I don't remember, but he's definitely a urologist.
The fact that you called me out on that, I might have to fight you. But nah,
Brown made me clown.
he went to the urologist and he had a prostate exam. I am so sorry. This drink is really hitting. Not gonna lie to you.
See it, bro.
I'm forgetting. Listen, but
No,
he had a prostate exam
for a prostate exam,
and during the prostate exam,
he ejaculated.
Thank you. I was trying to find a gentle way to say it, but you took the words out of my mouth, and I appreciate that. But yes, he ejaculated. The man apparently took that serious. He took it as maybe disrespectful. I don't know what the situation was, but this guy proceeded to shoot that doctor twice. Now the doctor survived, which is a good thing. It's an awesome thing. I wish he has a speedy recovery and he can go back to oil checking people. But you know, the reason I say that is, why would you shoot a doctor for performing an exam where more often than not,
he's saving your life?
I don't know why I have to say this, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but the prostate can be equated to the male G-spot. It is very, very, very sensitive. I haven't had my prostate massaged. Let me just make that absolutely clear, because I saw your face and I had to clear that up. I like to read things and educate myself.
Uh-huh.
And actually, after I saw the American Pie movie and Stifler had his prostate milked, I was like, is that a thing? I'm curious. I did a lot of research. But the point is,
you better cut it out.
It happened. These are things that happens during prostate exams. The fact that you felt so violated, that you felt so wrong. Maybe you enjoyed it too much and it brought up old memories. That is the exact definition of toxic masculinity. And it needs to stop. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think he actually felt an emotion, and then that he felt a different emotion other than anger. But anger was the only way he can express it, because it was something within himself. Because the doctor did say that he explained to him what can happen during the exam. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean emotion was attached to it.
But you know what? It's not about the emotion. It's about the simple fact of men growing up thinking, oh man, if anything goes next to your ass, it's gay. And then now something went next to my ass, and not only did I enjoy it a bit, I came. That shit is gay. Maybe the doctor wanted to do this.
Dirty.
Sorry?
This is racism. It's like, because I'm the skin tone, I'm dirty. You know what I'm saying? It's toxic masculinity is just the same thing as racism. It's taught in a societal fashion. Think about it.
Speaking, and I'm glad you said that. When you say it's taught, it absolutely is. Toxic masculinity is inherited through generations.
It is.
The father teaches the son the ways. Back in the days, boys weren't supposed to cry. They were brought up to be the man of the house. They took care of the women. Women were supposed to talk back. That shit is toxic. It's toxic.
Dated. It's very dated. It's dying. It's a dying breed.
And it furthers a patriarchy that needs to stop. It's kind of like when guys say dumb shit like, oh, if my girl makes more than me, that's no good. I'm less of a man. No, it hell. Listen, give me a sugar mama, please. Let me get somebody to buy me a PS5 the day it drops. Listen, I am all for it.
I don't have time to play a PS5. You're a busy man.
I don't, but I enjoy nice things, okay? Listen, right. I'm considering going to sugarbabies.com and try to get me when I enjoy nice things. Don't you judge me.
Oh my God. I'm done with you for the rest of the evening.
Listen. Long story short,
he could have killed someone because of how he internally feels, and that's a problem.
It's not and the crazy thing is, it's a problem that we can fix. Man, let me explain something to you just so I don't know why I got to say this, but I'm going to say it. It's okay to cry. It is okay to have feelings and emotions. Not everyone that's gay is wrong. Not everyone that's gay wants to fuck you.
And not every gay man is what they have a preconceived notion to be at all. Like, they're just thinking a flamboyant gay guy. Like, but your boss.
And by the way, them flamboyant gay guys can fight. Let me let you know, they will put them hands on you. Don't embarrass yourself.
That's them. Try Jesus. Don't try that. They got yes, they do.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, at the end of the day, it begins with in the household. Parents, family, mothers, fathers need to teach their boys and their girls, like, you guys are equal at the end of the day. Both of you guys can do the same thing. Perhaps he might do it more easily, but it's okay to cry. It's not a sign of weakness. You have emotions to exude.
Listen, the part that bothers me the most about this toxic masculinity thing is it's constantly happening. Look at the transgenders that were beat up just for standing waiting for an Uber.
Honestly, I remember that was just recently. People have so much time to be mean. But back on the topic, they were followed to that area. Like, it was a gentleman. He followed them.
You know how we can solve all of this?
No.
Minding your own fucking business.
Oh, God. Done with you.
Bro, if the shit doesn't involve you, if it doesn't affect you, if it doesn't hurt you, mind your own goddamn business.
It's not even business. No, but I'm pretty sure the individual in question saw an opportunity and they had hatred in their heart.
All right, so Esther, let me ask you a quick question.
But
do you feel like that those guys may have, like you said, they were followed? Do you feel like they may have followed them and assaulted them because they kind of they're confused about their feelings?
Feelings. They have their own feelings about the same sex.
Yeah, exactly. And they feel like they're ashamed of it, so they take it out on other people.
That is definitely a possibility. Definitely a possibility. But I just feel in that instance, it was an opportunistic moment that they saw. And then they perhaps were trying to show off for someone, because there were multiple people just recording and that took part in the assault. I honestly feel that they saw an opportunity, and yes, perhaps they do hate something within themselves. Definitely hate something within yourselves, because when you look in a mirror and you point a finger, you're pointing it back at yourself.
Touché.
So they just wanted to make fun of those young ladies because they were like, okay, they're transsexuals. And then what?
Well said.
And then what? They're still men on the inside. That's how the guy that attacked them felt. Then they could have thrown hands, but they didn't. The young lady was hit and she fell to the ground.
You know what though? Right. Had that young lady pulled out that ratchet and eared that place out, then it'd have been a whole different conversation.
There was another video with two transsexual women, and they threw hands and they put everybody to rest inside the restaurant they were in because they were being ridiculed. Listen,
for those of you that's listening and watching that are part of the LGBT community, beat their asses. I completely co-sign that. There's too much hate in this world to be hating on each other. This shit needs to stop.
It needs to stop, but everything begins at home and it begins in society, and we continuously perpetuate hate. But no, I really genuinely feel that they just had malice in their heart in order to go do that, because that was a premeditated situation.
And they got their uppings afterwards. I think I seen another video where they got handled and they deserved all of it. So as I said, if you're part of the LGBT community and someone decides to pick on you, handle them. Because we got enough hate in this world. They hate us enough. Let's love each other for a little bit, man. Come on.
Yeah, spread love, not hate.
We can't be divided at this time right now. We need each other. And for the men out there, bro, you can cry. You can be hurt. You can show emotion. Let's cut it out, man. Like a real man isn't afraid to show how he feels.
I concur with what you're saying.
And that's our show. Thank you for joining us. And if you decide you want to be on the show, shoot us a DM on Instagram. We will love to have you, hear your opinion. Have a good one. Peace.
Peace. Take care.